You're praying for it. You're working for it. You're visualizing it. You know what I'm talking about, that next level in your life, the next level that everybody wants to get to. The dream, the blessing, the breakthrough, it's coming. But here's what no one says out loud. The version of you that receives the blessing, it can't be the same version that prayed for it. Because blessings, they're not always light. We think about the things that we want and how they would make us feel. But the biggest blessings, they can be heavy. They're going to demand your strength, character development, maturity, preparation. They're going to ask a lot of you. This video is not a warning. It's more like a wake-up call to help you grow into the person that can actually hold those blessings and those things that you're praying for. You see, most people, they get the blessings that they prayed for, and they think that that's the finish line. But that's not the finish line. That's just a new level. You just graduated to a new level. That's it. And at every new level, there's new responsibilities, there's new challenges, there's new pressures, there's new expectations. So be prepared for that. All of these things are going to come whenever you get to that next level, whenever you get the things that you prayed for. But you're going to be able to handle it if you're conscious of it. So let's break it down. The real blessings that people chase and the real growth that they require. And I'll give you some practical ways that you can start strengthening your resolve right now before that blessing shows up. So let's talk about it, blessing by blessing or prayer by prayer. Because most people, they pray for the same things. We all want the same things. And with each one, I'm going to show you how you can get stronger. So when it comes, you're not only just ready for it, you're built for it. So the first example I want to talk about is them kids. In my opinion and my personal experience, kids are one of the biggest blessings in the entire world. My kids, not your kids. I don't know your kids, but I love my kids. Anyway, kids make you feel a love you didn't even know existed. The way they look at you, the way they reach for you, it changes you. Whenever my kid was born, both of them, and you know, they passed off the baby and the NASCAR team started doing their little thing, cleaning up the baby and all that. Well, when I went over there to just holler at my new kid and we made eye contact, both times, damn near brought me to tears. There's just a certain love and connection that you feel with this human being that you didn't know was possible until it happens. But with all that love and all that amazing feeling comes a weight. Sleepless nights, you get on your hands, everywhere, just tons of crying fits that you can't figure out how to stop, constant responsibility and accountability to this little human. And then you're literally shaping a human's worldview. You're literally shaping this human's beliefs and their emotional safety and their habits. That's a big responsibility. That's a big task for anybody to take on. You know, for sure, you're going to lose some sleep. And sometimes people even lose their identity, even if just for a season, all for the sake of this tiny little human. But it's a beautiful thing. And here's the thing that people don't talk about enough. You know, that little baby that took all your sleep and possibly took your identity and is just a shit machine. That same little kid will run into your arms like you're the most important person in the world. They'll say something and it'll just melt your heart. They're going to copy your words, your movements. They'll copy your character. That's why it's important that you become a good example for them. The coolest part is you're going to see glimpses of who they're becoming, and then you'll notice and you'll realize, like, I had a major part in who this little human being is growing into. And that's why it's important that we instill these beautiful human values and integrity and things like that into these tiny humans, because we're literally shaping them into who they're going to become to the best of our ability. Like, it's heavy, but it's holy, and it is worth every ounce of strength that you didn't even know that you had. So how do you prepare for that blessing of having a child? The first thing I would suggest is you need to build your support system early, because sometimes you're going to need grandparents or trusted friends or somebody to take that sweet little baby and just give you a break. The second thing, you need to create a rhythm that includes you. What do I mean by that? That means putting small, non-negotiable little pockets of time in your day just for you. 10 minutes to breathe, a walk, a journal, if that's what you're into. Something that will remind you that you're still a person and you're not just like a role. Another thing you need to do is you need to start now practicing giving grace. Certainly to the new kid, most of all to yourself. If you're a new parent, you're not going to get it perfect. Every new parent thinks that they have to get it perfect, and when they don't, they just beat themselves up. There have been billions of parents throughout the history of the world. None of them got it perfect, and you're not going to get it perfect either. So know that going into it, that you've prayed for this blessing, you finally got it. Understand you're not going to be perfect, and that's okay. Just love as best as you can love and make the best decisions that you can with the information that you have. And now with, technology and the internet, again, there are billions of people and probably hundreds of millions of people that have had the exact same problem that you have. And so you can pretty much find the answer for any of your parenting problems online. Next up on the list of things that people pray for, money. Money, 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 money. And let me just say this up front. Most people don't want money for money's sake. They want the feeling that they think money will bring them. Things like freedom, peace, status, security. And here's the truth. You can start cultivating those feelings before the money ever shows up. You can cultivate the feeling of joy and freedom and happiness before you have the money that you think is going to provide those feelings. Now, there's going to be somebody that's like, well, happiness can't pay my bills. You're missing the whole point. What I'm saying is you're looking for a feeling. You're looking for the feeling of freedom, the feeling of abundance, and you can create that in yourself. But that's a story for another time. For now, let's talk about what happens when the money does come. Because money, it is a blessing, but it's also a weight. It changes the way people see you. Probably going to be pressured to say yes more than you should. People are going to start expecting you to solve their problems, cover things for them, or provide opportunities. You're probably going to have some long lost cousins coming out of the woodwork, checking in on you, just seeing how you been. They ain't been around in decades, but all of a sudden, now they want to check on you. And if you're not rooted both spiritually and emotionally, you're going to start questioning who's really there for you. But let's not ignore the upside, because there is a lot of upside. Money is also going to magnify your purpose. It's going to allow you to bless others, invest in your future, invest in your kids' future, create freedom for your family, break generational cycles, but only if you're prepared to carry it without letting it carry you. So, how do you prepare for that kind of blessing, that kind of financial abundance? Number one, you have to define your values before the money shows up. This way, your money is going to flow in tune with who you are. And you've heard it said before, money doesn't change people, it magnifies people. So if you're an asshole without money, you're going to be a bigger asshole with money. If you're a wonderful, beautiful human being without money, you're going to be a doubly wonderful and beautiful human being with money. Number two, you need to set boundaries that protect your peace as well as your wallet. You got to look at everybody who has been around you. Who was around you before you had anything? Those are your people. Not the people who just so happen to show up whenever you get the money and always got the handout or always coming around with the sad story. Look out for those people. Be on alert. And you're also going to have to strengthen your emotional maturity, because big financial decisions are rarely just about math. Again, you will be hit at all angles from people wanting something from you. So be prepared for that. Next up, the thing that people pray for, they pray to live in their passion or live in their purpose. Let's be honest, doing what you love is a blessing. I am proof positive of that. It is a blessing to be able to wake up every day doing exactly what you love to do. You no longer dread Mondays. You wake up knowing that you're in alignment with who you're supposed to be. And that's some powerful shit. But in the beginning, it is heavy because you create content, you launch businesses, write, speak, and oftentimes you feel like nobody's even listening. And some days you wonder if it's even worth it. You start seeing other people succeed faster, and then you start wondering to yourself, like, damn, is this even what I'm called to be doing? But here's the truth. Passion has to survive obscurity before it ever thrives in visibility. The silence is shaping you. Can you do the thing when you're getting no response, when you're getting no attention, when you're getting no feedback? Can you stick to it and continue doing the thing? Because you feel called to it. You feel like you're on the right path. You've prayed about it. You've now received it. You're now doing the thing that sets your soul on fire, and nothing is happening. That's the training ground. Can you continue doing it when nobody's paying attention? And by doing that, that's developing the version of you that can sustain success without needing validation. So often we go through this life and we need to be validated. Our feelings need to be validated. What we're doing needs to be validated. That's why you see people who move up to executive levels, that their identity becomes the executive of such and such company. Because that title, in their mind, it validates them. It makes them feel important. But can you do the thing that you're called to do with zero validation? That's the test. But when you finally start seeing the fruit of everything that you've been doing and getting no response, when you finally start seeing the fruit of it, that's the kind of fulfillment that money cannot buy. That's the kind of reward where you get to let out a sigh like, man, I would have done that 12 times to get this feeling that I have now of having it actually succeed. So, how do you prepare to carry your calling? Number one, you have to stay consistent when nobody's clapping. Number two, you have to measure progress by obedience and not applause. Again, you just have to do the thing without the attention or the recognition. That comes later. Can you do the hard thing when no one gives a shit? The third thing, you need to build your identity on purpose and not on popularity. People are fickle creatures. So if you base your identity off of your popularity, it's going to ebb and flow, because one day people are going to like you. One day you're going to get a bunch of weird people saying weird shit to you. And that's just part of life whenever you put yourself out there. The next thing is you need to detach yourself from the results. You need to build the discipline and not the dependency on validation. Not everybody is going to like you. That's just a fact of the matter. It doesn't matter how good you are, how kind you are, how loving you are, how disciplined you are. You can be a 10 out of 10 and be a saint, and there will still be people that do not like you. You have to get that in your mind automatically. That's just part of life. You're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. And that's okay. You're not meant for everybody. You're meant for the few people who you speak to and they listen and they feel something from your words. Those are your people. There's going to be people that dislike you for the same exact reason. Part of life. Another thing is you need to track your growth, but you need to base it off of your consistency and not your virality, because you can't base everything off of these viral moments because they're few and far between. But you can be consistent. You can base your growth off of how consistent you're being. And that's a metric that is very important. Discipline, consistency. Can you continue doing the thing over time without any praise, without any recognition, and continue doing it? Can you get kicked in the teeth day after day after day until it finally works? Most people can't. Next thing people pray for, this wonderful blessing that they ask for, a new house or a car or some material object. There's nothing wrong with wanting that. It's a blessing to be comfortable, to feel safe, and to create space that reflects your peace. It's perfectly fine. But ownership brings weight. Yet again, this big blessing that we pray for, we got some weight to it. Mortgage payment, property taxes, unexpected repairs, every appliance, every roof, every cabinet, every pipe. It's all on you now. And if you've ever rented and gone from being a renter to a homeowner, man, it feels like them thunderstorms get louder. It feels like the wind's blowing stronger. And it is not as comfortable as when you're just renting somebody else's house. But there's something sacred about stewardship, about walking through your front door and knowing this is your home, or raising your family in your home. There's so many special moments that take place in that home. So how do you prepare to get this blessing, to get this new home? As an example, well, one of the ways you can do it is start putting a little aside for any maintenance issues that may pop up, because now that it's your problem and not a landlord's problem, the AC is expensive, the roof is expensive, so you need to prepare for those types of things. Not worry about it, but just prepare for it if you can. And another thing is you need to be content with what you have while you're working for what you want next. So often we pray for these things, or we want these blessings or these breakthroughs. We want this house, and then we're in the house for a year and we want the next house. Like, we haven't even given it time to sit and enjoy and be grateful for what we have before we want the next new shiny object. And the reason we do that is because we want the house because of the feeling that we think that house is going to provide. And that house provides that feeling for a short term. And then we think, oh, well, if I had a bigger house, then I would feel even better. No, you're still going to take yourself with you to the next house, and it's going to feel great and new and whatever for a few months. And then it's just going to be your house, and you're going to lose the honeymoon phase of ownership. So never forget, when you're living in the prayers that you once prayed, sit in that thing for a little while. Be grateful for the thing that you finally got that you wanted for so long before wanting the next thing. And the most important thing you want to do is you want to steward the place that you're in like it's your dream one. So if you have huge goals and aspirations to have let's call it a 7,000 square foot house, and right now you're in a 2,500 square foot house, steward that bad boy as though it was your dream house. That's how you get more things. Not to be, materialistic, but you have to steward what you have in the season that you're in to show God, to show the universe, hey, I'm going to take care of what you've given me, so therefore I can take care of the bigger things. You have to be diligent and take care of and steward well the small things before you can graduate, so to speak, to the bigger things. Because if you can't take care of the small things, you're not going to be entrusted with the bigger things. Another thing that people pray for, relationships or marriages, real love. Now, that's a deep blessing. That's a big one. People want it. It's an amazing feeling. Not everybody wants it. A lot of people want it. I wanted it. But that's a deep blessing. Real love. Being fully known, fully seen, fully chosen. It's rare and it's beautiful. Marriage is not just about companionship. It's about having a shared purpose. But love is also weighty. It's compromise when you're tired. It's communication when you'd rather just shut down. And it's really learning how to die to your pride. Not just once, but over and over. But when two people choose growth over comfort, they become something so much stronger together than they ever could have apart. You build history, you build intimacy, you build trust that doesn't crack when things get hard. And that's worth fighting for. So, how do you prepare for a love like that? Number one, you gotta learn how to listen and not just talk. And what I think the most important one is you have to become whole yourself and not depend on another person to make you whole, and not depend on another person to complete you. You got to become whole before you're going into it. That's how you really make a strong relationship. Now, you can develop it inside the relationship, but at some point, you got to become whole by yourself. Third thing, You need to become the kind of partner that you want to have. You got to treat your spouse the way that you want to be treated. What you need to do, you need to learn your love language. And then you need to shower them with your love language, with their love language as much as possible. We all need work in that area, myself included. But becoming conscious of it is the first step. The second step is taking action on it. Fourth thing you need to learn how to communicate clearly, calmly, and consistently. No subtleties. I never really got subtleties. Don't just tell me straight up how it is. And another one that is super duper important, learn how to practice forgiveness now. You're going to have to learn how to accept apologies that you ain't never going to get. And so you need to start practicing that now before you get into the relationship, because it's going to carry with it so many benefits. Next thing people pray for, leadership or promotion. People pray for leadership or promotion opportunities because, leadership feels like elevation. But the higher you go, the more weight you got to carry. Now your decisions affect other people. Now you're responsible for outcomes, morale, vision, accountability. The people that you're leading, they expect answers. They expect consistency. They expect strength. Even on your worst days, even when you want to sleep in and not go to work. You're the one that wanted the leadership opportunity. Understand, when you get it, it ain't all sunshines and rainbows. But when you lead with integrity, humility, and service, you don't just build followers behind you. You actually build leaders. You're showing people how to lead by leading by example. And you become the kind of person that multiplies greatness in the people that you're leading. So, how do you prepare for influence? You have to learn to lead yourself first. If you can't lead yourself, you can't lead other people. I'm talking about things like discipline, values, consistency, good habits. You have to develop these things in yourself first. The next thing, you got to stay teachable. You got to seek wisdom from those people that are ahead of you, people that you look up to. Ask them for advice. Seek wisdom from them. You're not an island. You can get help. And finally, here's something else that people don't talk about enough. Sometimes you get exactly what you prayed for. You get exactly what you visualized. You get exactly what you cried for. You get exactly what you wanted. And it doesn't feel like you thought it was going to feel. You thought that dream job or that money or that relationship, you thought that was going to fill a hole that was inside of you. And you learn really quick once you obtain it, it just doesn't. And then once you get what you wanted and it doesn't make you feel the way that you thought it would, you feel lost or you still feel incomplete. And when people reach that stage, it's a huge state of confusion because this whole time they were on this journey, they thought once they got to the destination that they were going to feel different. You can ask anybody that's won Super Bowls or World Series, there was excitement in the game. And then the next day or a few days afterwards, the excitement's gone. Now what? Now the best teams, they started preparing to win the Super Bowl or the World Series the next year. But I'm sure there were a lot of people that just felt lost. Like, I thought winning the pinnacle of my sport was going to feel different. And it doesn't. Of course it doesn't, because you're still taking you with you. And you're looking for this outside event to feel something that only you can feel within you. Because fulfillment doesn't come from achievement. It doesn't come from attainment. It comes from alignment. And when your identity is built on getting there, what happens once you arrive? And this is why you don't just need goals, but you need a vision, a reason to keep growing, a deeper why that's going to guide you past the finish line. Without it, you'll get to the finish line and you'll just stop because you have nothing else. And when you get there, a lot of people, what you'll realize is you get to that finish line, you still feel empty. You still don't have that feeling that you thought you were going to have. That's why you have to have something set up beyond that goal, beyond that finish line. Now imagine this. You're not just praying for the blessing. You're becoming the person that can actually carry it. You're parenting with peace. You're managing money with clarity. You're pursuing purpose with power. You're loving deeply. You're leading boldly. That version of you is not in the distance. That version of you is built decision by decision, day by day, starting now. So here's what I want you to do. Write down the blessings that you've been asking for. Then ask yourself, who do I need to become to carry this well? Who do I need to become? And then take one step today to becoming that version of yourself, so that when the blessing shows up or the answered prayer shows up, you're prepared for it. Now, I have a whole series on things you can do to become the best version of yourself. I'll link it down below. It's a whole playlist. It's 11 videos, 11 keys to becoming the best version of yourself. Just watch those videos. Or not watch them. Or you can watch them, but listen to them. Put them on in the background as you're doing something else. Because you're going to catch what you're supposed to catch. The things that are supposed to move you are going to move you. Look, here's the facts. Sometimes the greatest blessings that we can have are the heaviest. But so are the strongest foundations. So if you feel, stretched or pressed right now, good. Because that pressure is not punishment. It's preparation for you. You're not being tested to break. You're being built so that you're able to carry what's coming. And so therefore, when it arrives, you won't just receive it, but you're going to own it. That's going to be you. You're going to be the person that can manage it, can carry it. You're going to become a new version of yourself. So understand, big blessings come with big weights, but you're made for it. Or the thing that you're praying for wouldn't have been put in your heart. But you do have to become the person that's capable of carrying it, no matter how long it takes. If you believe it, it's going to come. If you take action, it's going to come. You got to become patient in the process. That's all I got. If this helped you at all, and you're not already, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Another thing you can do is hit the bell icon. That hits you with some notifications every time I drop a new video. Drop a comment. How can I help you? What are you praying for? What blessing are you preparing yourself for? In the description, you can go check out the website. I'm going to be updating that pretty soon. Go ahead, sign up, slap your email into the box. I'm going to start sending out some emails here pretty soon. You can follow me over on Instagram. Or if you just like listening to these things instead of looking in my face, which I wouldn't expect you to sit here for 20 minutes and look at my face. So if you want to listen, I'm taking all this and putting it also in podcast format. You can check that out. That's going to be called You 10.0 with Jonathan Treadway. That's me. And my whole philosophy is about you becoming the best version of yourself. The 10.0 version of you. Anywho, that's all I got. Don't forget, make good choices. Let's continue to strengthen our resolve to become the best versions of ourselves. And I'll see you on the next one.